Greetings. This is Captain Henson, and today we are moving on to the 4th episode of Bad Batch, Cornered. With me today
is Teacher Rawl, standing by.
Luke Warren standing by.
Alright, so first up, plot summary. So we open possibly a short amount of time after the previous episode. Rations are low, and Tech tells them that he needs to hack into their ship's ID signature so that it can change on a whim, just so, the Empire doesn't track them. So they land on Pantora. Wrecker and Tech take apart the ship in order to find the ID signature, while Hunter, Omega, and Echo go on a supply run. They have very few credits, so they're hoping to sell off some things. They meet a seller who thinks that Echo is a droid because his disguise makes him appear like a droid. So Hunter is able to sell him off for 3,000 credits. While this is going on, Fennec, making her animated debut and her second appearance after Mandalorian, we see has been hired to obtain Omega. So after a big chase that led to Fennec capturing Omega for a while, Hunter eventually rescues her, and they make it back to the ship. The ID signature has been altered and can now be changed anytime they want. Fennec calls the one who hired her, we don't see who it is, and the episode ends. So, overall thoughts. I really enjoyed the episode. Honestly, there's not much to say, but the action was nice. Getting to see Fennec was a real treat, and having her once again played by Ming-Na Wen was also nice. I'd say this is very much a setup episode for future episodes. And that's my take.
It definitely feels more along the lines of a filler episode, this one, I think.
I would agree with that. It does seem like both a filler and a setup episode, especially, particularly for Fennec.
Honestly, the character interactions are really the main meat of this episode.
I would say what we're seeing as the series progresses is that you watch the series for the characters. And in that sense, even if we have an episode where, in the grand scheme of things, not much happens, just seeing these characters interact is good enough. That's what keeps you invested in the episode. And I think from that perspective, the show has done a good job at giving each member of the cast distinct personalities that are able to bounce off each other rather well. And that is once again carried over into this episode.
Yeah, I mean, you have things like the interactions between Wrecker and Tech. I mean, that's the definition of North and South, really, isn't it? Because you've got Tech, the extremely brainy one, and Wrecker, he's just more action than words, really, isn't he? Like, as soon as Tech starts going on about the technical name for the part of the ship they need to remove in order to alter their ID signature in future, Wrecker just goes, blah, 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 just tell me what part I need to take out.
Yeah, I do think this series has done a pretty good job in that regard.
Agreed.
Or when you see Omega express her desire to explore the galaxy after having been stuck on Camino for her whole life, and Hunter has to sort of keep her grounded for each task that they set out to do.
Yeah, she grows up on one of the most sterile-looking environments imaginable, and finally has, the galaxy to explore. So, yeah, it makes sense. Though, of course, Hunter's still trying to figure out how to be a guardian to this child, obviously going through growing pains.
I don't know if you guys felt this way, but to me, Omega's desire to explore the galaxy kind of feels like what we see Rey express when the main heroes of the sequels first arrive on Takodana, except I actually find myself more invested in how Omega feels.
It's certainly a common dream for Star Wars characters. I mean, Luke wanted to see the galaxy, Anakin wanted to see the galaxy, Rey kind of wanted to see the galaxy. So, yeah, it's a common dream shared amongst many Star Wars characters.
And, Fennec, who I actually didn't know about. I should clarify here, people. I'm the only one out of us three who hasn't seen The Mandalorian, so I didn't recognize Fennec. But she looked suspiciously like Zam Wessel in terms of her outfit. In fact, she looked so similar to Zam Wessel to me that I thought, is she another Clawdeye changeling?
No.
I'm just saying, because from my point of view, that's just the path you go down when you give a character that similar of a look, especially with the choice of helmet.
Yeah, aesthetically, she does resemble Zam in some aspects.
I would say that was definitely done on purpose.
Yeah, I think so too, in a way.
And but this was something that I brought up in the previous discussion, but it's something that's highlighted even further here. Tech's lack of concern for Omega's well-being. Because if you guys remember, towards the end of the episode, there's the point where Omega's climbing up a hatch to escape from Fennec, only to find herself at the top of a tower, and she's literally hanging off of it for dear life. And he reports it to Hunter. He just says, Omega's just hanging off the top of a tower for now. Like, come on, dude.
Yep. I will also say this. This has been the case for the whole series, but it was, I think, definitely apparent here, for me at least. The animation in this series is just incredible.
I agree. Clone Wars animation has always gotten better over time and stuff through the seasons. So that wouldn't surprise me.
Like the first shot of their ship, and I was watching this with my dad, he said that it looked like it could have been live action. It just goes to show you, again, the animation in this series is just incredible, and I hope we stick with it. If not the art style, then at least the quality.
Yeah.
Because Rebels certainly had its own style, but if it had this kind of budget, man.
Something that I just wanted to point out is that you get that short kind of air chase between Hunter and Fennec when she has Omega. And am I the only one who got serious Attack of the Clones vibes from that? You know, like a sort of a callback to when Anakin and Obi-Wan were chasing Zam.
You're not wrong. I definitely kind of got some of those vibes too. Even some of the sound effects you hear were from Attack of the Clones during that scene. Like with the speeders mainly.
I don't know if that was intentional or not on the part of the sound designers. It was just something I noticed.
Well, it's Star Wars, so it wouldn't surprise me that they had just used those sound effects, because again, it's not like you have such a diverse amount of sounds for specific vehicles.
Another moment that has just come to mind from relatively early in the episode is the point where Hunter, Echo, and Omega come across a group of civilians celebrating the end of the Clone Wars, and we find out that there is a chain code post present in Pandora, basically making it clear to us that chain codes are very quickly becoming the norm at this point within the galaxy.
Yep, still going through that transitional process. So, is there anything else that we need to discuss?
Really struggling to think of anything else, unless there's anything to discuss with the thing between Wrecker and Fennec towards the end when he saves Omega from her.
Well, I mean, the only thing to say is that Fennec is definitely brains over brawn.
Yeah, and for me to add, I'd say it's the case of the bigger they are, harder they fall, and with the mix of brains and brawn, as Henson mentioned.
Yeah, because obviously Wrecker, as we know, he's kind of a child in an adult's body, really, isn't he? And he packs a lot of brawn, so battle of opposites there.
Well, I guess the only other thing to mention, and of course for those who watched Mandalorian, I'm sure this is also the case, I really hope that Boba Fett shows up in this series.
That would be cool, especially like with the idea of like who like contacted Fennec and stuff, or the person who Fennec is contacting with. It's really up in the air. I got my own theories on it, but Boba Fett would be one of those few that would be a surprise to me.
I mean, not even just him being the client, more so just he shows up somewhere for whatever reason, and him and Fennec meet for the first time. That way they can establish some kind of relationship, not necessarily romantic, I'm not saying that, but they set up their relationship, they know each other. So that by the
Yeah.
time we get to Mandalorian, it could be this cool thing of, oh, they actually have a history together before this.
Yeah, that would be cool, honestly. Because in season 2 of Mandalorian, with episode 7, it kind of almost felt like they kind of knew each other when, at the time, we just kind of knew these guys as two complete strangers, just working with each other. But to have them have a history would actually be really, really cool, honestly.
It
And
would.
it would be nice to see that.
Something that is quite interesting with Fennec to me is that she's not completely merciless as to just kill someone upon a first failing, because if you remember the guy who Tech and Wrecker speak
The guy
with,
who runs the landing platform.
yeah, he was the one that tipped Fennec off about the Bad Batch's ship, and at the end of the episode, after the Bad Batch escape, he's begging Fennec not to kill him, and she actually doesn't. She says, if they come by again, you know how to contact me. So that was kind of a surprise. I honestly thought she was just going to kill him.
Yeah,
same.
from Mandalorian, we don't really know a lot about her, so yeah, that's certainly new information.
And something I just want to say very quickly about the animation quality, because you two had brought it up earlier. Would you say we've basically got film quality CG animation here now?
Not to that level, but certainly damn close.
Yeah,
like
pretty
if
close.
we were to get this kind of animation released in theaters, I don't think anybody would complain about its quality.
Yeah.
Certainly not on the level of something like, Disney, Pixar, or DreamWorks, but it's definitely close.
Yeah.
It's definitely eons above where this all started back in 2008, if you look at the TCW feature film and compare the visuals of that to this.
It's certainly come a long way, so that should be commended.
Yeah.
Is there
All right.
anything else?
I don't think there is.
Yeah. I think we're probably done here.
Alright, so final thoughts. Really liked the episode. Character interactions were as great as always, and I really hope this leads to us getting Boba Fett.
This was a really good character episode, like Henson said, and I look forward to the next episode, and I wonder who this mysterious client is for Fennec.
For me, this episode, whilst it's not necessarily a killer episode, it is surprisingly good, and hopefully we'll be covering something a bit more killer next time.
And with that, another video comes to a close. This is Captain Henson.
This is CJ Rawl, signing off.
This is Luke Warren signing off. May the Force be with you.
We are signing off, and until next time, may the Force be with you.